So I've always enjoyed hearing other people's experience on what it looks like and what it feels like being in the work. And what do I mean when I say the work? I mean that there's this understanding, this belief that there is no separation between the mind and the body and the soul, that they're in a relationship all their own in this dance, that they're constantly communicating, and that our relationships in the ways that we interact with the world, they're all a mirror, a reflection back on what's going on inside of us and what's coming up into the material plane, into our conscious awareness, so that we can process and we can heal. So here's mine in real time from yesterday. We returned back from some holiday travel from visiting my brother out in Colorado, and my older daughter, she picked up COVID on the return home. And it's been pretty gnarly. It's been all hands on deck. After the first full day, I said to my husband, this really is reminding me a lot of how it felt caretaking for my mother. And my mother had a autoimmune disease called scleroderma, and she was sick for half my life. It was a progressive disease she had for 15 years. And those last seven years, I was really doing a lot of caretaking. And it was in a time when we didn't have all of the resources that we do now. And it was really confusing. I was young, and there was this overwhelming responsibility to show up in all these ways that were not natural for our relationship. This caregiving for my mother, it really drained me. It really sort of burned me out until it felt like there was nothing left, like, of me, for me. And I didn't have any tools. I didn't have any language surrounding it. We weren't having sort of conscious conversation, and I didn't have anybody that was just on my team, any sort of therapy or anybody that was there just supporting me. And so while this scenario with my older daughter being sick is very different, it carried this like this similar energy, this similar frequency. My body, it remembered. And this memory became stronger as the days went on. But the thing is I said that to my husband, and then I forgot. And so yesterday comes around, and I get us through with the morning routine, and I'm feeling this. I'm feeling really burnt out, and I'm feeling like this sort of trapped in my body. I want to run, but run from what? I'm really charged. I finish my workout, but the feelings just sort of intensify throughout the day. I go into this rage cleaning where I'm doing the downstairs shower and the upstairs shower. I do all my techniques. I go into the laundry room and I scream into a pillow. I'm crying. I I'm hysterical. It in my mind, it's like crazy. I don't know really what's going on there. I was just trying to lean into whatever was asking of me, and thankfully, I'm in a point where I know enough where I wasn't taking it out on the family, where I wasn't blaming, because it's so easy to do. It's so, so easy to do in a partnership on saying, like, oh, I don't feel good. You're the problem. So I wasn't doing that. But I also wasn't getting any sort of clarity, any sort of relief, or understanding of what the F was going on. Towards the afternoon, I remember this phrase, this psychological phrase that says when it's hysterical, it's historical. And I was like, this is exactly what this feels like. I ended up getting the opportunity to go to the store by myself. So I was in the car and I was driving. I get in the car, I'm still very charged. I try a podcast to like try and calm down. It doesn't really feel like anxiety, so it's not scaring me, but it's just like so much, it has nowhere to go. Eventually, a few minutes in, I turn off the podcast because I feel no relief. And so I start talking out loud to myself, and I start asking myself questions like, what's going on? What's coming up for me right now that needs my attention? I feel this pit in my solar plexus. It's like dark and deep and it's really charged. It's almost like, to describe it, it's like almost like this black hole, and it was sort of buried in there. And once I started asking my questions, it became very loud, and surprise, the voice that came back, the answers I received was this from this girl, from me back in my 20s, with with all of this unprocessed grief, fear, sadness, which turns to anger, which unprocessed turns to rage. And that's what that was yesterday. So I brought her forward and we had a conversation and we talked, and I was able to like cry in the car and say what I needed to say, and also just acknowledge her that she didn't have the support and she didn't have the words and she didn't have the understanding, and that we did go through this thing and it was really hard, and that like my body was waiting for the opportunity, like it kept the score for it to be able to come up and be received. And after I gave it a voice, and after like I let it express and say all the things I needed to say, it totally dissipated, and I moved into this like really peaceful calm. It felt just like such a relief. And it lasted throughout the day. And today's been fine. Now that I'm on the other side of it, I can say that this whole process, like, it excites me. I've been working on this for the last decade, and being able to do this in real time, of gathering the tools, having the awareness and the history and the consistency, it makes me feel like I'm an active participant in my life.